Diego is looking for a second date update this morning, and we're going to do our best to help him out. Hi, Diego. How are you?
Going good. Thank you for taking my call.
Happy to.
So I went on a date with Michelle twice. We went to coffee, and everything went really well. And we even had a second date. Picked her up, took her to dinner, and when I got to her house, she invited me in, and pretty much her dog ran straight up to me and was wagging his tail. And
that's a good sign. He didn't bark or growl at you?
Nothing like that. And she even made a comment that her dog doesn't get like that with anyone, or not even men, for example. So for me, I took that like, points for me, right? Like if I get along with her dog, that must be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to a nice dinner, and I thought everything was going well. The conversation was there. We were laughing. Well, actually, we had a lot to talk about on the second date. We're both West Siders, went to UC, both work in sales. Very, very busy people, right? So everything was going really good. I didn't pick up on any awkward silences, nothing like that, where it made me think like she wasn't enjoying the date as much as I was.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I'm calling you is because it did end in a bit of an uncomfortable way.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but that's why I wanted to, because I can't talk about this with anybody. But pretty much when we got back to her place, she didn't invite me in.
She did not invite you in.
Oh, you came in
at
the beginning, but not at the end.
That's what I thought. And that's how I feel because, she literally, we got to the door, we were laughing, we were making small talk, and I kind of leaned in for a kiss, but she went in for a hug.
That's a sign.
It's a sign. Is it really? It's bad?
Well, I don't think it's good.
Right. Well, here's the thing, guys. I've reached out a couple times, but she's not responding, and I'm not one to, bother anybody that much. I sent her a meme. She kind of just put the laughing thing on it, and then I sent her a good morning the next day. She hasn't responded. She actually had her text messages set on red, and then after the first time I reached out to her after that date, her text messages are not on red anymore. I don't know if she changed the setting or she's just not opening my text messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I called you guys, because I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I really like this girl. If she didn't like me, she wouldn't have gone on a date with me.
No, but she's definitely sending a message. I mean, that's two things. She turns and gives you a hug instead of as you're coming in for the kiss, and then ignoring your messages.
I just don't see what it could be. That's all, right? Just like I mentioned to you guys, I don't see any red flags. There was nothing that I said or did that made her feel uncomfortable, or at least I don't think so. So
you're really looking for a reason at this point.
Yeah, if she doesn't want to go on a date with me anymore, I'd be bummed, but at least she's communicating.
You'd like to know why.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll call her up, see what she says.
All right.
Yep.
So hang tight, buddy. We'll get to that after the break. Second date update, Cincinnati's Q102. All right, Diego went on 2 dates with Michelle. First date was a coffee date, went really well. Took her to dinner on the second date, and he gets to her house. She invites him in. Dog runs straight to him, wagging his tail. All about Diego, loves Diego. Even Michelle said that. That's a good sign.
That is a very good sign.
She has one of those intuitive dogs.
One of those.
They know, right?
They do.
They have a lot in common, lots to talk about. Both West Siders, both went to UC, both work in sales. What's not to love? Didn't seem to be any awkward silences or any of that. Thought they got along pretty well, but he did pick up on a weird vibe at the very end of the date because they go back to her place. There's just like standing at her door, and they're doing that awkward small talk. He goes in for a kiss, and she gives him a hug and has not returned any of his texts or messages. And so, we're going to call her up and see what she says. You ready, Diego?
I don't know if I'm ready, but I want to do this. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, good man. Let's go for it.
Hello?
Good morning, Michelle.
Yeah, hi. Who is this?
It's Jeff and Jenn at Q102. How are you?
Oh, great. How are you?
We're doing okay. You got a few minutes?
Is this about Diego?
What gave it away?
The fact that you called me, my dears, I've listened to you before, and I know.
Okay.
You know things.
I know things.
Well, Diego is definitely picking up on the vibe that you're blowing him off, and he's really racked his brain trying to figure out why, and he can't come up with anything, and I think it's driving him a little nuts, which is why he reached out to us. So can you help us out?
Okay, well, I have this pet peeve. And it's actually kind of more than a pet peeve because I think it really speaks to a person's character and their communication skills.
Okay.
He never uses his turn signal. And the thing is, to me, if you can't communicate on the road, like simple communication, like I'm going to turn here or I'm going to change lanes, heads up, if you can't communicate that, then you can't communicate in real life.
That is a pet peeve.
Yeah. And I need somebody who's going to communicate. I'm sorry?
No, but we're just listening to you. Jen and I are looking at each other and we're nodding our heads. I mean, we're kind of the same way. I mean, obviously, like if you're behind someone and they just inexplicably slam on their brakes and then turn, thanks for the turn signal, eh? Like if I saw the turn signal, I would have slowed down and then it would, right?
And actually, funny story, I actually broke up with someone much earlier in my life. I used the turn signal to turn into my driveway, and I live in a pretty wooded area. And he's like, "Oh, I guess the trees want to know where you're going." And I'm like,
"Okay,
wait a second."
But that's funny because my ex once dinged me on not using a turn signal, and I said, "No one is behind me or in front of me, so why do I need it? Who am I communicating with?" And she said, "That's not the point. It's about safe driving habits."
Our boss is a very strict rule on this as well.
Really?
I said, what if it's a left turn lane? I mean, there's only one way to turn left. Everyone's doing it. She's like, nope, you have to.
You do, because it's consistency. It is communication.
Right, but it's like a tree falling in the woods, though. If no one's around to see you, I mean, that was the only point I was making in my situation was if I'm not affecting anyone, if there's no one in front of me or behind me, what difference does it make? Keep in mind, her dad was a driver's ed instructor.
Well,
habits are so important, though. If you allow yourself to get out of the habit, it's just going to spread. It's like, keep the habit, keep it going.
It's spreading.
It is spreading.
Wait a minute. Is this for real? I mean, we did nothing but talk the whole day. I don't know what you mean that I can't communicate. Like, where's this coming from?
Diego, we talked about people and places, but you never shared your feelings or real thoughts about things. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, you didn't use your emotional turn signal, Diego.
Bingo.
Isn't that why there's a third date? I mean, I thought everything was going great. This is absurd. I mean, I just can't believe that hearing you say that it's because of changing lanes and not using my turning signals. Like, that's how I drive. You could have told me to use my turning signals. I would have nicely used my turning signals for you. I really didn't even think in a million years that would be the reason why you're not responding to me.
All right. Now, Michelle, that's something right there. The fact that Diego was willing to use his turn signal for you, if that doesn't say anything, I don't know.
What more do you want out of life?
It does say something, but you're not hearing the second part of what I'm saying. Okay, the second part is that our conversation in these couple of days was super surface. And even when I asked a question, his answers were really neutral and just fact-based. There's a difference between talking and communicating. And he's a talker, and that's fine, but I'm a communicator, and I need somebody who's going to communicate. And that's what dating is for, is to find out these things.
Are you a center lane turner, Diego?
I mean, yes, I am. I turn lanes. I use everything. I mean, can you give me another chance? I mean, I will communicate more. I mean, this is feedback that I can now use so that I can be more communicative and less talkative and, get more in detail with our feelings and stuff.
He wants to be better, Michelle.
Yeah, this is something that I can improve on. It's not, this is,
He wants to be better.
Yeah, I hear you. And
he's using his turn signal right now. I see it blinking. I hear the click.
You know what?
Asking is another chance.
Let's meet for coffee.
Okay.
And talk. I think, that's kind of kind of start again area where I'm at right now.
I would love to meet you up for coffee.
Okay.
And we'll see. You know, I'm a big believer in watching for red flags and seeing them, but you know what? I'm also a big believer in people, once they get feedback, they can make adjustments. So we'll go and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Diego will pick up on some things and give you some feedback.
Yeah.
That would be great. That would be communication.
I'm just stirring the pot. Don't listen
He's
to
just
me.
being a stinker. I know.
I'm here smiling.
He's full of it today.
All
so.
right, you guys. I'm glad to hear this, though. We're happy to set it up. It's on us. Feel free to get some sandwiches or lunch or whatnot. We'll give you a gift card. And stay in touch. You know, let us know how things go either way.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
I got to
really
admit, I
appreciate
kind
it.
of chuckled when you first said that. It was over a turn signal, but I wasn't expecting it to get this deep. I'm like, oh.
Oh, you know, see, you can read into things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Michelle, thanks for being a fan, listening to the show, and for taking the call. And Diego,
Absolutely.
appreciate you willing to listen and put yourself out there.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Because of you guys, I'm now going to be given another chance and going on this coffee date. Thank you, Michelle. I'll text you right now.
Cool.
All right.
Love it. Have fun,
Sounds
kids.
good.
Keep us posted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is you can see from these windows,
Mhm.
you know, the traffic down below. We're looking at the intersection of Gibson and Kennedy. And so if someone, for instance, is driving one of our station vehicles and fails to come to a complete stop, that will not go unnoticed by certain members of our management.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
Jeff.
funny.
I don't know.
You have no idea.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I very rarely ever even drive one of those things.
How was the hill with the weather last week? Were there cars?
Oh,
Yeah, there were a few.
puddle,
Nobody
yeah.
out
Yeah.
there.
Not
No,
as bad as previous years
No.
because it was less icy and more snowy. But yeah,
And the
we were
Metro
watching.
bus drivers that come down that hill that were slaying
Oh,
it.
man,
Yeah.
those
I mean,
dudes are bosses.
So good.
Mhm.
And women. Yeah, it was awesome.
And women. Men and women.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.